Hey there campers, we hope you're having fun at the RV show, and we want to say thank you for stopping by the Pete's RV display. As show champs the past few years, we want to retain that title with your help. We carry everything from pop-ups, lightweight travel trailers, full-time living fifth wheels, and even motorhomes of all different shapes and sizes. We've got payments as low as $99 a month, and we guarantee you we can find you the RV of your dreams. Just grab a yellow shirt. We're looking forward to hearing from you, answering your questions, and helping you start your adventure right here at Pete's RV Center.
So you've got two locks on your entry door. We have the top lock and the deadbolt. Now the top lock is something that most people have a master key to, so if you want extra security, make sure you use the deadbolt. We may ask you to only use the top lock when you drop off for service so we can get in and you can keep your keys. Hey guys, Randy with Pete's RV TV today. Another quick segment for you. Today I want to show you what I do when I get out of the vehicle to get fuel or go use the restroom while I'm towing or just to stop and grab something to eat. So the first thing I do is I obviously pull up in the parking lot, and then there's a couple things that I check immediately after getting out of the vehicle. And this is just going to tell me if I may have some problems down the road, and if I can do these quick checks, it may save me some time and some money as well. So the first thing I do when I get out of my vehicle is I come check the tires. And what I'm checking for is heat. So I'm going to actually feel each tire. And I just want to see if the tire is hot. And what I'm also feeling for is irregularity. I want them all to feel the same. So if I feel one that's hotter than the other, I may want to check that for low air pressure. You may have even seen the 18-wheeler drivers that have billy clubs that come around and hit their tires when they get to the truck stop. They're listening for an audible change. Sometimes they'll even kick the tire and see if it feels different or it sounds different. If one sounds different than the other three, I want to check that air pressure. I want to make sure that that's going to be equal to the other ones. If it's warmer or sounds different when I give it a little kick, that's something I definitely want to check. The other things I check for, because we've got independent brakes on every wheel, is I'm going to check the hub. I'm going to feel the wheel to see if I get any excessive heat in the middle. If a brake is dragging, it's going to take that heat and it's going to push it out to the wheel. It's a piece of aluminum. That aluminum is going to soak up that heat really good. So if I feel one that feels at a different heat or a different temperature than the other, I may have a problem. I might have a brake dragging, or I might have an issue with a wheel bearing or something like that. And if we can address this before we get on the road or have an issue on the side of the road, if you're with me, it'll be on the side of the road in the middle of the night in a rainstorm. But if we can check these things, it will save us some time and maybe a hazard down the way. So check the tires, make sure they sound the same, make sure one doesn't feel hotter than the other. I also look for uneven wear, especially if I'm doing lots of traveling. I'm also going to feel the wheel. If something feels really hot, then I'm going to think maybe that I do have an issue and I need someone to take a look at that. So you definitely should be able to touch it. If it's so hot that you can't touch it, you definitely have a problem. But if they all feel the same, I think we're going to be okay. One of the other things that I do too, usually after I've gone and used the restroom or gotten a bite to eat and went in the store where I have left my vehicle, is I want to check my gear. I want to make sure no one tampered with it while I was away from the vehicle. And so what I do is I come up here. I also want to make sure nothing happened while I was towing it before I arrived. So I usually check the coupler, make sure I still have a good positive lock here. Some people even run locks or clips through here, so not a bad idea. I make sure all my hitch gear looks good. I make sure my chains are in good working order. I just want to look for anything that looks out of place. I want to make sure it looks the same way it did when I hooked up. I want to make sure my breakaway cable isn't coming in contact with any of my hitch gear if I was running weight distribution on here. I just want to make sure everything looked good, everything is hooked up appropriately, and everything is safe for travel. If it's not, great time to combat it or take care of it in a parking lot in a controlled environment rather than on the side of the interstate somewhere. You can also check your lights as well. If you have somebody else with you, you can go in and just check the lights very quickly. But do check those tires. Make sure everything sounds the same, feels the same on all four tires. Do check each brake. Just give it a heat check. Just feel it with your hand. If something feels different than the other three, we probably want to have that looked at. So if you do those quick checks when you get out of the vehicle and before you start hauling again when you return to the vehicle after leaving, you're probably not going to have any problems, and it may save you some time and some money down the road. So thanks again for thinking Pete's RV. I look forward to seeing you on the road, and happy camping.
Sun exposure, road salt, bird droppings, insects, spills, odors, and germs. Keeping your RV new can be challenging to say the least, but keeping your RV healthy and clean inside and out has never been as easy and effective as it is now. Eco RV Pro provides 2 revolutionary eco-friendly products that not only maintain your RV's brand new exterior appearance, but also keeps the interior of the coach stain, odor, and germ-free to protect its value over time. These unique industry-changing products are Microbe Repel and Exterior Shield. As for the interior of your RV, unfortunately, it's the perfect breeding ground for harmful germs and bacteria. In fact, vehicles have 1,700 times more bacteria than households. These microbes lead to odors and stains and can even be the cause of dangerous superbugs. Eco RV Pro's interior product, Microbe Repel, is a permanent self-sanitizing disinfectant and protectant that is 99.99% effective in eliminating microbes, stains, and odors for a full 5 years, creating a permanent barrier on interior cabin surfaces, the ventilation system, and the cargo areas, resulting in a clean and healthy vehicle environment. Protecting your RV's exterior from the never-ending environmental attacks is challenging. These threats impact the appearance of your vehicle and its value. Eco RV Pro Exterior Shield creates a protective barrier that withstands these environmental attacks, from UV damage, acid rain, bird droppings, insect damage, including love bugs, hard water etching, and more. Exterior Shield is truly eco-friendly, with sustainable, high performance guaranteed for 5 years. Simply put, owning an RV that is protected by Eco RV Pro's truly green products not only helps maintain its new appearance, but also keeps it healthier and safer for you and your family.
All right, so inside of our Grey Wolf Cherokee product and every RV that is produced in the States or Canada, by law, we've got a fire extinguisher next to the door, and this is so emergency personnel know where it is. In the state of Vermont, where I'm located, this is part of the state inspection process, so we can have these go down the road. So just know that your fire extinguisher needs to be located by the entry door. To use it, hopefully you never have to, pop that. You're going to pull the yellow tab, which will allow us to depress the white button, spray it at the flame until the flame is gone. Hey guys, Randy with Pete's RV TV here today. Another quick tip segment for you. Today I'm going to talk about something I'm very passionate about, and that is weight distribution and anti-sway. So most people don't know what weight distribution is or anti-sway or how it works on. They just see a sales guy tell you that they need it to pull that camper down the road. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So weight distributing hitches look much like this. This particular one here is going to do 2 things for us. It's going to give us weight distribution, which is where we take these bars, and by hooking them to the camper appropriately, setting up the hitch appropriately, we can actually take the weight from the back of that truck and I can force it through the hitch and the receiver on your tow vehicle, through the frame and towards the front of the vehicle, putting the appropriate down pressure on the front tires and making that truck ride the way it was designed by the manufacturer. So real important when we're hauling heavy trailers. The other thing that I really get really progressive about is talking about anti-sway, because that's something that all other hitches do differently. So a premium hitch like this one here is going to give us the best anti-sway. We see inexpensive hitches out there and we're going to get very little sway protection from them. Kind of funny to me that someone will take their $50,000 truck and buy a $30,000 or $40,000 camper and look for the cheapest thing to mate those two together. I want to make sure that when I'm towing with my family, I've got the best hitch available on the market. One that's going to give me the best load leveling and the best anti-sway properties. A little bit about half-ton trucks today. Now, half-ton trucks are great things. I owned one for a long time myself. They're great riding vehicles. They're great for running to the grocery store. They're great for bringing my daughter to school. They're also great for towing campers, but they do have a little bit of limitations. They have a P-rated tire, what we call a P-rated tire in the industry, which is a passenger vehicle rated tire, which means they have a very light-duty sidewall. That tire meets or exceeds all the weight limitations on that vehicle, which is usually plenty to tow a camper down the road, but what they are susceptible to is some sway as we get to highway speeds. That trailer starts riding at the same rate as the truck and riding independently, and actually can be pushed around by a gust of wind or even an 18-wheeler going by us. So that's where the hitch comes into play, and that's where a premium hitch with the best anti-sway possible, like this Trekker here, is really going to help out that family with that half-ton truck towing at highway speeds around the Northeast or wherever you may be. How this particular hitch does it here is we actually tighten this red nut up here, if Kyle can zoom in, and we pinch it right here, providing a ton of stress right there, forcing the camper to stay behind the tow vehicle. Now, as we turn the tow vehicle, go around a corner, what have you, this hitch will allow you to turn. It actually brakes at about 30 degrees on this particular hitch here, and then when it straightens out, that anti-sway locks back in. It's called adaptive sway on the Trekker. So with those P-rated tires, again, half-ton trucks are great trucks to go down the road. D-rated tires are very expensive, the kind we run on the heavier trucks that help combat that sway. So running a premium hitch with your travel trailer at highway speeds is going to keep you and your family safe going down the road and make it a lot easier for the guy driving that truck and your wife not digging into the dash and white knuckling it the whole way on the trip. So make sure that you know about the hitch you're purchasing. Make sure if you're running a half-ton truck with a larger camper behind it, you do have a premium hitch providing you as much anti-sway and load leveling as possible. Thanks for watching Pete's RV TV with Randy today. I look forward to seeing you on the road.
The science is a unique antimicrobial that provides a barrier of protection that's highly effective and has a safety profile that's unequaled. Here's how it works. The shield forms its protection through 3 functional elements. First, the base layer is a covalent bond that permanently affixes to the surface, enhancing it for the life of the item it's applied to. Second, by cross-linking to the base layer. And lastly, by creating a durable 18-link carbon chain with a positively charged nitrogen atom at its base. This newly formed surface sets up a cationic, or positively charged surface, that creates 2 lasting benefits. The first is a clean base layer that makes removal of dirt, grime, and other organisms as easy as wiping with water. And second, the matrix of swords that provide the tool for solid microbe control. This mode of action against mold, mildew, algae, fungus, and other odor-causing bacteria works without harmful chemicals, biocides, or poisons. The positive nitrogen atom magnetically draws microbes to the surface, with an attraction strong enough to destroy a microbe by first piercing and then electrocuting the offender. The rapid destruction of odor-causing germs provides for odor control that is not available through traditional chemicals. Traditional antimicrobials work by leaching or off-gassing to deliver a poison for microbial control. These older technologies are narrow in their scope of effectiveness, with some only working on fungus and others on a limited range of bacteria. Some common chemistries even allow for organisms to adapt, thus creating superbugs in our environment. This begs the question of what value using heavy metals, toxins, and pesticides bring when they can allow for unwanted elements to be reintroduced into the environment. Microbes must have a receptive surface to survive. A surface with a shield is completely inhospitable to microbes, effective without poisons. The physical mode of action provided by the shield disallows adaptation and does so safely as well as dependably. The safety science behind this technology has been documented for decades, as its functional elements are effectively sand or silica, wood or carbon, and nitrogen. Finally, a safe and wise choice for microbe control that is as easy to maintain as wiping with water and works for you 24/7. Anywhere clean is important.
Hey guys, Randy with Pete's RV TV here again today. Another quick tip segment for you. Today I want to talk about vent covers and their importance. So what a vent cover is pretty much a cover that covers our vent below. It's a relatively inexpensive install that will really help you protect your investment. Let me tell you how it does that. So when we are in campers, we're sleeping, we're breathing, we're taking showers, we're cooking food, we are emitting moisture. When we close that unit up after we get home from the weekend and we put it in our backyard and close everything up and close all the windows, that moisture stays in the unit. It could potentially cause mold and mildew and give us foul odors and make for an unsafe environment, especially for our children or people that have asthma. So by having a vent cover on here, what we can do is we can leave the vent open, and if you've got multiple vent covers, we can leave multiple vents open through any kind of climate, any kind of weather, and what that will allow it to do is it'll allow that moisture to go out through the roof of the camper. So in our homes, we have what's called a ridge vent, which allows air and moisture to come out of that ridge vent, so we don't get these moisture problems in our house. You take a shower at home, you've got a fan in your bathroom, it's pulling all that moisture out. We want to be able to do that in our RV as well. So by having vent covers on our RV, we can allow that moisture to come out after our camping weekend and not leave that behind, causing some adverse side effects. So anyway, Thanks for thinking Pete's RV, and I look forward to seeing you on the road, and happy camping. Hey folks, Randy with Pete's RV TV here today. Another quick tip segment for you. I just wanted to take a couple minutes and show you some of the things that I bring with me when I go camping. I take a lot of phone calls from customers that have small problems while they're camping that do arise. And when I direct them on the best way to take care of that problem, they need a couple tools that they may not have with them. So if you put together a basic toolkit when you go camping, leave it right in the camper, no problem whatsoever. We can talk you through most anything. So some of the things that I bring with me is, first of all, I always bring some sort of light source, either something I can put on my head, or this little guy right here is kind of neat. We sell them in the store. It's got a magnet on the back so I can stick it to a piece of metal in the camper where I'm working, or it's got a hook on it, and it gives me some light underneath the cabinet or in the front storage compartment or by the battery, because nothing ever goes wrong in the daylight. It always happens at night, unless if you go camping with me. So a couple lights, which are nice to have, or even if you got just a regular flashlight that you store and keep charged in the camper. Another thing I bring is I've got a bag of fuses. So every fuse, every camper has multiple different size fuses in them, so I kind of got a bag of just a variety of everything that I run into in a camper, and good thing to have with me. Roll of electrical tape, never know. And you can fix most anything with electrical tape if needed. I also bring some crimp connectors, which you can buy in a kit like at your local home goods store or something like that. And these are just if I have to reattach a wire, or we have to shorten something up, or we have a mishap or something pulled loose, just to be able to make a crimp connection is nice. That will also work in conjunction with a pair of crimping pliers. And again, sometimes the kits you purchase will come with an inexpensive pair of pliers that you can use to get by for the weekend. Now, most campers are built with screws, obviously, and the type of screws they use are a square tip, or a screw head has got a square tip, so you need a special square tip to go to those screws, and that's this guy right here. If Josh can pan in on it, and you'll see I got a Phillips right next to it. Most people have a Phillips because that's what we have at home. Campers are a little odd, and they require that square tip. So this kit that I purchased from, again, one of the local box stores, it's a Milwaukee kit. I think it costs like $20. It's got everything I need in it. It's got a screw acceptor for my screw gun. You will need a screw gun as well. And it's got the square tips. It's got Phillips. It's got a couple Torx here, and it's got spares of all, because if you lose them like I do, nice to have a spare. But anyway, for the cost of this kit, I think it's just a great kit to, I have one at home and one in my local carry around toolbox that I do bring with me when I go camping. Sheetrock knife or a box cutter. This one actually folds up like a jackknife. I actually carry this one with me all the time, right in the pocket of my pants, but good to have. You never know when you're going to need that. Wire strippers and cutters. Again, if we have an electrical problem, a lot of the times we can talk you through it, or you can find it very easily yourself, but having a good pair of strippers on board, it makes that job a lot easier for us, stripping that wire back. I like to bring a couple pair of channel locks if I've got a plumbing issue, and usually I can get by with a binder if I got to tighten something up with the channel locks. And again, these can be purchased at your local box store. Christmas is a great time to pick this stuff up because they've usually got kits on sale, relatively low price, and you don't need the best ones. A lot of these tools are very expensive tools. This is how I make my living. You don't need the best tools for your basic kit that you keep in your camper. I usually will carry a Phillips and a regular screwdriver. These are like mid-size, so they're pretty much good for almost every application unless it's something specific. We've already talked about the crimpers. I do carry a pair of side cutters with me. Sometimes these are just a little easier to make a cut close to something or pull a staple out that may be in our carpet or what have you. But again, pair of side cutters. Needle nose. You can always get yourself out of a bind with a pair of needle nose, especially when you drop something in that spot that my little fat fingers can't get into. Needle nose makes it very easy for that. There is some neat small kits out there. Again, the big box stores, Sears, all of them have kits that have a couple different size open-end box wrenches. This is one of the ones I carry in the small kit that I have that's all over my toolbox because I left it open. I also bring a couple of adjustable wrenches with me as well. Reason for the adjustable wrenches is they're adjustable. We can use them for almost any size, anything to get you out of a bind. Again, these aren't tools to fix the problem per se, but enough to get us by for the weekend before you can get it in for service and get it repaired appropriately. An electrical tester. This particular one right here is for 120 volt power. Pretty much I'm just going to plug it into the outlet and it'll tell me if my power is good, tell me if it's wired properly, and tell me if power is present. So that's a good one. I take phone calls a lot where my TV is not working. Well, do you have power at the outlet? I don't know, Randy. Well, I'm having you plug something else in, but if you've got a quick electrical tester to plug it in, then you can tell me. This guy right here is for checking 12-volt power. It's called a stab tester, 12-volt tester. We'd hook this end to ground or anything pretty much metal on the camper, and then we can test our fuses with this guy here. I'm going to have Josh pan in on one of these fuses here. This is a great way to test our fuses. So if you can pan right in on that and see the two metal tabs on either side of the 40 there, Josh, each one of those is a test point, so I can test if I've got power coming in the fuse, and I can test if I've got power going out of the fuse. So when you're looking at a whole fuse panel and you're trying to determine which one is the one for your furnace or your LP detector or something like that, which is labeled incorrectly, by testing both sides of all the fuses, we can quickly determine whether one is blown or not. And again, we would do that in conjunction with this tester here. This will also test if we've got power at breakers and things like that on the 12-volt side of things. So when you call me up and tell me that your slide out's not going out, I'm going to ask you if you've got 12-volt power to the breaker going through the breaker to the slide out. This is a great way to test that. This is another tester that I carry with me, kind of on the same lines of this one here, but I can actually put this next to any wire and it'll tell if it's a 120-volt wire, and it'll tell me if I have voltage present rather than putting it into an outlet. It's called a Wiggy tester. Multimeter. This is what I love for customers to have because we can do all sorts of testing with this guy here. Not everyone's going to put this in their toolbox that they keep in their camper because these can be a little bit more pricey. But if you've got like an inexpensive version of this and one of these, which aren't too bad, we can usually get by anything. So anyway, there's just some of the tools that I bring with me camping, and again, enough to get you out of trouble and a pinch. Maybe not make the final repair, but definitely continue on with your camping weekend if you are having a small problem. So just wanted to share that with you guys, and if you're looking for presents for Father's Day, birthdays, or even Christmas, great time to put this little toolkit together, and can be done for relatively inexpensive on the Father's Day, on the Christmas side of things, because that's when we see a lot of tools on sale at our local box stores. So thanks for watching Quick Tips with Randy today. Look forward to seeing you on the road, and happy camping. All right, so if you need a little bit extra sleeping, or one of the kids is bringing a friend along or two friends along and you're out of bunk space, this is a great place to get some extra sleeping very easily. So how we go ahead and make the dinette into a bed is, first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the table. I'll usually sit at the dinette and pop it from the bottom. Go ahead and we can get the dinette table out of the way temporarily because we're going to use it again here in a minute. Then we're going to take these legs and pull them right out of the receptors. I'm just going to set these down here. I'm going to remove my cushions just to make it a little bit easier to get the table in where it's got to go. I can just kind of stand this up out of the way. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our table and fill in the void. So we're going to set this on this little shelf right here. And Carl, you can see in the video where we've got this little piece of wood that they've actually screwed onto the dinette seat, and that's going to be the shelf where the table sits. We'll drop this guy right in there. Then we can go ahead and take our cushions and put them back on. We'll put these two right here. And then we'll take the two center cushions, fill in the void. Now when we're using this, we've got to be a little bit careful. Our table is not a huge thick piece of material, and we don't want it to be because it'd be very hard to remove. So when we get in and out of this bed, it's best to go to the dinette seats and then crawl in and distribute your weight rather than focusing all your weight or bouncing in this area here and possibly damaging the table. All right, so a little bit about taking care of the inside of your camper. We do not really need a bunch of very harsh, abrasive chemicals, cleaning agents, things like that. If we maintain it and take good care of it, which I know most people do because this is their fun thing to have, is just use light duty cleaning products and use the right product for the right job. So when we're doing the floors, I recommend a quick sweep out, you know, from all the dirt that gathers over the weekend for people that don't take off their shoes like me. Then I'll go ahead and I'll clean with a Swifter, just something that I purchased at one of the big box stores, and I have changeable pads on those, so just a great way to clean a floor. And these are very storable as well. This one will actually break down in a very small area, and I can store it in one of the cabinets. So great thing to have, and I've definitely keep one in my camper. I love these little pads for cleaning. They're just kind of light duty. This one actually disinfects, so if you've got a sick kid or you're sick yourself, this will help keep things clean there. We use a little Windex on the windows, just a great way to clean that way. I really like Pledge for a lot of the cleaning. This is light duty, it's going to clean, it smells good. We use this in a lot of the other products as well, especially the Airstream products is what they recommend. That's kind of when we started using it. We can clean the surface areas, we can clean the woodwork, things like that with a Pledge. It's going to keep your clothes looking nice and keep the fingerprints down on everything. A Lysol, again, foamer. I don't have anything with anything abrasive in it because we don't want to scratch our toilets or our sinks or anything like that. So just light duty stuff. This particular one has some foaming action with mold and mildew resistant. For the stainless steel, I recommend a stainless steel cleaner. Again, nothing abrasive. Use light duty cleaning products, and much like the cleaning products that you may have in your home. So light duty stuff, don't use anything abrasive, and keep your coach looking great for a long, long time.